Welcome to Grimoire for Gamers! What do you get when Bloodborne meets Greedfall with a steampunk-esque twist? Steelrising, a Souls-like with a more RPG focus, where you play as an automaton badass named Aegis, set in an alternative reality of the French Revolution. Aegis, who was once a dancer, now acts as the Queen's bodyguard to stop the Mad King and his automaton army. Aegis, unlike the other automatons, has developed sentience, so she isn't a mindless killing machine. You start off by being able to customize your very own Aegis by picking her material, changing her hairstyle, and even selecting your preferred face. You can then select what starting class you wish to choose. Just like typical Souls fashion, this will determine your starting weapon and your starting stats to help develop your build. Vestals in this game is basically a bonfire, like in Dark Souls. It rises up from the ground and Aegis sits in the chair, and you can then change your stats. These stats include power, durability, vigor, engineering, elemental alchemy, and agility. These can all affect Aegis in different ways by providing various passive bonuses that include various resistances, dealing more damage, either elemental or physical, or you can even increase the rate at which you inflict elements to other enemies. From this screen, what you can also do is you can purchase various items and equipment, and you can also sell them as well. So what makes Steelrising stand out, besides the setting? Well, for starters, as Aegis is an automaton, she doesn't have a regular stamina bar like in most games. Instead, we're given something similar to Neo in terms of the ki pulse, by being able to cool ourselves down at the press of a button. However, this involves timing, as the quicker you press the button when your stamina is all used up, the more stamina you gain back. However, this can't be abused, as using this too many times will cause Aegis to eventually freeze, leaving you vulnerable to an attack. There's also a stealth mechanic built into Steelrising, where if an enemy is unaware of Aegis and you are locked onto them and they have the back turn, she can then initiate a stealth takedown which will instantly kill low level enemies. However, the higher level ones will only be knocked down by this attack, but you are able to combo them after performing this attack, so you'll be rewarded either way. What's actually interesting about the stealth mechanic is levels have actually been designed around it, so you can utilise Aegis's manoeuvrability with her jumping capabilities, get behind an enemy to either kill them or just do a lot of damage. The weapons in Steelrising are actually quite unique as well, ranging from the slow halberd that can actually be turned into a rifle to then be used to shoot enemies from afar, or the Wolverine-like claws that give Aegis the ability to parry and riposte, something she couldn't normally do, or even the ice batons that allow you to imbue your weapons with ice to be able to inflict this ailment as quick as possible and freeze your enemies. I will be doing a separate video on all the weapons I found in the beta, so stay tuned for that, because I'll be going over all the moves as well for your weapon showcase. You can't have a Souls-like and not talk about the bosses, so let's talk about my favourite one that I fought in the beta. It's important to highlight, however, this is a mini boss. I haven't actually fought a main boss in the game, because we know from trailer footage that main bosses are called Titans, and unfortunately none of them were in the beta. But anyway, this guy, I'm calling him the electric battering ram, because he's got this huge metal pole that he loves to swing at you while charging, and he slams it down on the floor and makes this massive AoE electric attack, which I think's really cool. And you know, they are quite unique for being mini bosses, but if you want more of my thoughts on the bosses and breaking them down more, I am going to do a separate video, because I do think they deserve that. There's 3 mini bosses in total, so stay tuned for that. But my overall impressions were that they were quite unique, but I can't really judge too harshly, because again, the They're just mini bosses, they're not the main bosses in the game that I am looking forward to fight when the full game comes out on September 8th. So, now it's time for my final thoughts, but I like to give a balanced overview. So due to that fact, we're going to talk a little bit about the bad now. So unfortunately, one thing that always holds Spiders back as a game studio, in my opinion, is animations and combat. Now, the combat has improved since Greedfall, I'll give them that, in Steelrising, but still not quite where I would like it to be, especially in a Souls-like. It does feel janky. It does kind of suit the setting because, you know, the character feels robotic and so do the enemies, but I do feel like that Spiders did that on purpose because potentially that they couldn't do better in terms of making more animation, like transitions between each attack. So I do wish the movement was more fluid in that regard. The weapons don't feel that bad overall, apart from really the fan. The fans in the game is just not a good weapon, in my opinion. Here's a quick look at the map. As you can see, we only had access to the first 2 areas in the beta, so I'm hoping the next locations are even more interesting. Here's a quick look at one of the little secrets I found, kinda hinting towards Metroidvania elements, which I really hope is true, because I love that in games. But yeah, overall I enjoyed my time with the Steelrising Beta. I'm excited for the launch of the game, coming soon. Like I said, it's September 8th I believe, so very soon. I will be covering it in full on the channel, so if you do like this type of content, please like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And if you've got any, you know, videos you want me to do, just comment down below. Let's get that conversation started. Let me know what you thought of Steelrising, and I will see you all later. Until next time, bye bye.